Okay, so my internet's bad, so I am now in my personal hotspot on my phone, so let's hopefully that works. Um, if you're on my other one, please hang up that one and now join this one because otherwise you're only going to see half the video. So I was on step number 5. I was talking about spending money and how I realized that money was a flow. And you guys, when Josh and I were first dating, we were so anti-committal that we lived in the same apartment building in separate apartments, and we'd go get our mail together, and I would open my mailbox and I would get bills in the mail, and then he would open his and he would get checks in the mail, and he's like, money's energy. And I'm like, that is so gross that you can just create money like that. And he's like, it's just energy, it's just a mindset, it's just the way you think about it. And I realized, like, man, that's true. Because I used to be very scared about money. And being scared about money, like scared to swipe your card or scared if you're going to have enough money at the end of the month, that's fear, right? And fear is not real. Fear is just an illusion. It's just something that's in your head. And if you can just get rid of that, then you can focus on the lesson at hand, which is to be free with your money and just expect and trust in karma. Because I know, like, I'm going to help my friend pay for her wedding. I'm going to buy my niece a car. I paid my sister's debt off. My family is like hooked up because I know that it's energy. Money is just energy, and whatever you put out there is going to come back to you. Always. It always comes back to you. If you're putting like saving, hoarding, fearful money out there into the universe, that's what's going to happen. Lack. You're going to get more lack. So when you become less stingy and greedy with your money, you actually attract way more of it. So that was a big lesson that I had to learn and really rewire my brain on. So that was number 5. Number 6 is I stopped listening to broke people. And that means myself. I was a broke person. I stopped listening to myself. You guys, stop listening to that little roommate that was like, you can't afford that. Like, what are you talking about? You grew up on a dirt road, Jen. You can't have these nice things. Don't listen to broke people. So if you are like most people and you're surrounded by people that are just average income, you're going to be tempted to take their advice, because even if they're just a little bit ahead of you and maybe they have, more of their house paid off than you do or whatever, maybe they have a little bit of a nicer car than you do, you're going to be tempted, like, I'm going to follow them. But my challenge for you is to only listen to people that are exactly where you want to be. And this goes back to what Robert says all the time. Find a mentor that has documentation. I can prove my documentation. I can show you the times where I had massive paychecks, and I can also show you the same time that I've had zeros in my back office. I mean, I have 13, 14 pages full of earnings because I've been here since 2014. And I had a guy that was like, I want to join you, but like, you're Jenna, so I know you're the wife of Josh, so that's obviously why you're successful. So, and I said, get on your Skype right now, and I'm going to walk you through every single page in my back office, and then you can determine if I achieve this myself or not. And so I realized that like you just can't take anyone's advice. That's not where you're at. You have to have the documentation. You have to have the proof. You have to listen to people that have already done what you've done, because they already know the roadmap. And I'm not tooting my own horn here, although I have achieved something dramatic and drastic here and substantial in my life, but I've followed the leader, and that's what network marketing is. I followed Josh. Before I had my own story to tell, I knew Josh's story like the back of my hand. I had to edify him and not talk about myself at all. Every single phone call I got on in the beginning of our business was all about Josh. I was like, he hit his first million by 21 years old. He built a team of 56,000 people around the world. He was the top income earner for several years in a row. They had to create new ranks for him. As an affiliate, I told his story because I didn't have one yet, and I wasn't afraid of that. I decided to just follow people that did what I wanted to do, and I happened to live with them. So that's like even more convenient. But my point is to pick out your mentors and choose them wisely. Now, a lot of times in my life, I didn't have mentorship. I didn't even have parents at some point during my life. So I read a lot of books. I read about one book a week. I'm like an avid book reader, and there was a time in my life where I just didn't. After college and high school, I was just like, what do I need to read for? Like, I have TV and radio. But read books and study what other people are doing that are getting the results that you want. Because if it's been done before, that means it can be done again. it means it is possible. Number 7, this is random, but totally a part of my life. Number 7 was I took a holistic approach to overall wellness. And I mean financial wellness, physical wellness, mental wellness, spiritual wellness. Okay, all of that together had to come full circle for me, for sure. Because like I couldn't just have a piece of my life struggling and have another piece of it like super excelling. I don't think it works that way. For me, I had to get serious about my health. I had to get serious about my meditation and yoga and like getting in alignment with my true desires and listening to my spirit versus my ego. And you want to know the difference between those two. Your ego is what is the doubting voice in your head, and your spirit is the one that knows that it's just the presence within you, that the observer behind the mask. Okay, you're the observer. You're not the person that you think you are. So I had to take this holistic approach to wellness, and I realized that as I went on a journey, more and more people wanted to follow me because they saw that I was changing my life. They saw where I started from, and they saw where I was going in the middle of it. And there's some people that have waited till now. They waited till I hit this level before they've taken me seriously. So it doesn't matter. But if you're going on a journey, let's say you've got a few pounds to lose. I'm not judging, but let's just say that's an easy journey for you to go on that you can document and put on the internet and put on Facebook and say, listen, I'm Operation Getting Myself Healthy so that my brain, my mind, my body, and everything can be holistically well. If you go on these journeys, it inspires so many people because you are taking the steps where they are afraid to take. That's an easy way to build your Facebook following. That's an easy way to get people to become engaged with your story. So for me, I had to go on my own journey, and it was mostly a spiritual journey for me. I didn't have much weight to lose, so I didn't have that opportunity. I think that would have been easier because I could have just showed you before and after pictures. But you have to see my videos, I guess, from back then till now. I made drastic personal development changes, and that was the journey that I went on. So I encourage you guys to go on a journey and document it. Change something in your life and put the pieces in your entire life together, not just a part of it. Don't say I'm going to be rich and then I'm going to worry about eating right or whatever. Like, do it all together. Make it a collective, holistic thing, because that's going to take you to higher results much faster, because you're going to have the respect and the inspiration of people that are following you. Number 8, I led with my heart and my passion. Instead of my skills and all my background that I learned, I learned how to do call center stuff. I worked in a call center. I could smash any sales call probably. Like I had skills, but I didn't have heart. And I think that was the biggest thing that was missing from my organization up until I started with Hempworx, because my passion was so great for these products because of what changed in my life that I led with that. I led with my heart first. And I realized that it wasn't all about me, and it wasn't just about my results. And I think if you can do that, I always teach people, even in the corporate office, as we're hiring new people, I say, hire people or recruit people with heart and then teach them the skills. Don't go for the people that have all the skills with no heart. Like, I don't care how much money somebody's making in the industry. I don't care if they're a 7 or 8 figure earner. I'm not going to talk to them. I'm not going to hang out with them at events. I'm not going to approach them if I think they're assholes. I'm just not. Like, if their ego is bigger than the whole room, I'm avoiding them. Like, I have no interest in dealing with people that are too good for everybody else. That is one of the biggest turnoffs I found in network marketing, that I decided I would lead the example and change that, because I hated that. I hated that people had to feel like the people on top were celebrities and then everybody else was just like these little peasants. Like, I hated that so much. So I decided I was going to lead with my heart, and I was going to be casual, and I was going to keep it real, because that's what I felt the industry needed. I felt like the shift had to happen from within first before that we could change the rest of the world. So I encourage you to lead with your heart, and not your skills, and not your rank, and not your accolades, and not whatever car you drive and whatever house you live in. No one gives a crap about any of that. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's great I make $10,000 a day online. Good for me. But how I did it was by leading with my heart, by becoming a heart-focused person. I had to let my guard down. You know, I used to be so tough. You know, I used to be like, people call me the ninja and all this stuff. And I used to have this like shield around me all times because I'd been hurt so many times. And I just kept this shield over my heart, and I never let anybody in because I didn't want to get hurt. I didn't want to be vulnerable. And my biggest thing I can teach you guys is to keep your heart open. Because if your heart is not open, then you're going to have a really hard time connecting with people on a real level. And I learned that because of Josh, because he's the first person that I really fell in love with. And he inspired me to change who I was. In fact, I even decided to get therapy at one point. I went into the shrink's office and I was like, apparently there's something wrong with me because all my relationships are falling apart. I'm broke and I'm going bankrupt and nothing is working right in my life. So apparently I'm the common denominator and it's me. So what's wrong with me? And how can I fix it? Because I'm tired of hurting other people in my life because I'm not allowing them to enter into my space. And I had to really do a lot of self-reflection on that. And I had to really put in the work. And this is the hardest work I think anybody can do in their lifetime, is to conquer their lifetime of past trauma, their ancestral trauma that's been handed down from parent to parent or parent to child and then so on. I think that's the biggest thing that we can learn to do, is learn to leave our heart open and to keep it open all the time and not to be afraid to become vulnerable or being exposed. I think it's a perfectly honorable thing to keep your heart open and let people experience the realness in you so that they can be inspired to open their hearts as well. Lead with your passion, lead with your heart. That is probably the most important thing that I've said, and out of all of this, that I feel is extremely lacking in our world and in our industry. So if we could just get a couple of you guys to get on board with that, I think it would do a lot of good. Number 9, this kind of goes with number 8, but number 9 is I stopped thinking about myself. I became selfless. I used to be a really selfish person. I used to not care about anyone, or I thought I did, but I would not show them accordingly. I just didn't have love in my life, you know, and because of that, I was only focused on myself and my own problems, my own drama, my own whatever world was happening with me. And I was a narcissist, like flat out. If you Google narcissist, that was me. I was a narcissist. And you know how hard it is to recover from narcissism? It's really hard because it takes a lot to admit it to yourself that you've been a shitty human to other people. So I stopped thinking about myself. You know, people that are like, I'm just so like depressed and like anxious. And I'm like, this is my belief, and I don't know if it's true or not, but this is why I believe, you guys, that people that are depressed, and I've been there, I've been suicidal, I've been on the side of the road, like questioning if I ever want to go back into my house or if I want to run away. I've been in the worst situations you can think of. So I'm speaking from experience here, not judging anybody that's going through a hard time. But for me personally, depression for me was, I'm so focused on myself and my own pain that I literally can't care about anyone else around me. That's what depression was for me. And because of that, I decided I was going to stop thinking about myself. What took me out of the place of being sad and depressed or whatever, what took me out of that was, what can I do to give to somebody else today? How can I make somebody else's day better? I started doing nicer things for my husband, my kids. I started putting love into other people. And when I took the focus off of myself and what was me and my problems, everything began to shift. And everything began to return to me. That love I was putting out there came back tenfold. And again, you guys, the wheel of karma is completely true. At least it has been for me. So if you're experiencing lack of results, ask yourself, what are you putting out there? You have to become the person you wish to attract. You have to become the person you wish to attract. If you're acting crazy on social media, if you're doing stupid things in your life, that's what you're going to attract back. You have to become the person you wish to attract. There's no other better way to say it than you have to lead yourself on your own journey before you can lead anybody else. Because nobody's going to be inspired by somebody that's just pretending. We can see right through it. I mean, we see fake leaders all the time doing all this crazy stuff online, and it's like, great, what have you done for somebody else? So number 9 is don't think about yourself so much. Think about how you can help somebody else, and then be patient, because that's going to be returned to you. It always happens every time, and it might take a while. You may have to give a lot, because you may have a lot of bad karma you have to clear from what you've taken from life. You may have to invest for a long time giving in before you can take out, but you have to make deposits into other people's lives before you can take withdrawals. And lastly, number 10, this one is probably going to be one that blows your mind the most, which is why it's number 10. I realized what was illusionary in my life and what was real. I realized what was fake and what was real. What was fake was fear, doubt, excuses, depression. That was fake for me. Bipolar. They call me bipolar at the doctors. And I said, how do you know that? Is there a scan or something you do, or you just ask me a few questions and determine that? Yeah. So I had to decide what was real. I had to decide what I was going to reject out of my consciousness and what I was going to accept. And this is going to sound crazy, but you guys, literally on the plane, on the way to the cruise, onto Miami, there was clouds in the air, and the pilot got on the speaker and said, we're in a holding pattern for an hour, and we're gonna be a late flight because the weather is so bad we can't land. And I heard that, and I said, I reject that. I don't want that reality, so I'm not gonna even focus on that, because most people would be sitting there and go, oh, great, another hour. Like, that's what most people would think. But I didn't do that. I just said, it's just weather. I can change the weather. I can change my point of reference. I can change my point of consciousness. So, okay, that's his version of reality. That's the information he's getting. But I reject that, and I'm going to have clear weather. We're going to land, and we're going to have a great trip. You guys, I almost didn't go to this cruise because the weather was thunderstorms every single day, and then there was like hurricanes. And I was like, why are we going on a cruise right now? This is crazy. And it literally every single day was thunderstorm and rain. And I decided that I'm going to fix the weather. And it was funny. I was telling our team this on the cruise, and they're like, we did the same thing. I'm like, you guys, we brought the weather. But it ended up being sunshine every single day, sprinkled like for a second, and that was it. So you can reject whatever reality you don't want to be a part of. If you don't like something in your life, don't accept it as real, because the moment you accept that as real, that's it. It becomes real. Your fear is the most powerfully energetically charged emotion that you can have. But guess what else is the most powerfully charged emotion that you can have? Love. Love is the opposite. Okay, so don't accept the things that you don't want in your life. You may be sitting in a studio apartment. You can barely afford rent. You may be struggling right now, but that's the reality you can reject. You can reject that. You can say, no, I am not going to continue this way. And this is a temporary holding pattern until I get to my next destination. This is not my final destination, and I'm not finished doing what I have to do here on earth. And whatever I'm going to achieve is already on the way. Like, I imagine myself, when I am manifesting something in my life, I imagine it as easy as I'm ordering something on Amazon. They're shipping so good, you can depend on it, right? And when you order something, you know it's showing up in 2 to 3 days. And you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to like crazily check the tracking. Like, it's going to show up in 2 or 3 days, stress-free. So I imagine the things in my life, I imagine it just like I am placing an order on Amazon and it's just on the way. Like, no, like, who is calling Amazon on the first day and saying, where's my package? Like, where's my package? Oh my God, it's not here. I'm going to start freaking out. Did it get lost on the first day? No. It's in transit. Your blessings are in transit. Whatever you've put out there that you want to achieve, whatever your vision is on the way. As long as you become a vibrational match to whatever it is you're trying to achieve. Okay, now if you're saying, I want to make $10,000 a month, like, Jenna, or a day or whatever, and then your vibration is low to the point where they don't even make sense together. Like, I'm going to make this much money, but I'm going to treat my family bad, and I'm going to bring bad energy into my home. You're never going to get there, okay? So you have to have your vision and what you're trying to attract in your life, and you have to raise your vibration to match it. And when you match it, it's as simple as ordering something on Amazon, and you can manifest something instantly. You can manifest it instantly. I've been known, and I am crazy to say this, inside of a hotel casino, but Josh can verify this. I will go play poker, and I will tell him what cards are coming out next. And it's not because I'm a psychic, it's because I'm manifesting it. I'm creating it in real time. And you can get so good at creating, it becomes extremely fun. So number 10 was realize what is real in your life, or what you want to be real in your life, and realize what is fake. Because a lot of this is going to be completely opposite. Magic is real, and your words are magic. And when people come to me and they go, I have all these health issues, I have all this financial trouble, like, I go, whoa, why are you saying any of that? Those are your words are your magic spells. Imagine that. Imagine that your vocabulary, your language, and everything that you're feeling and vibrating on a daily basis, whatever is coming out, is what you are creating. You're creating based on what you're saying. So if you're saying all of your problems, guess what? You're on a repeat cycle of your problems. It's really that simple. Start speaking your magic spells of the words that you want to create. I am making $10,000 a day. I'm making $10,000 a minute, a month, a year. I don't know, whatever your goals are, but start speaking life into your magic spells, into your words, into your vocabulary, into your every single day. And be very, very paranoid about saying anything you don't want to create, because you're creating it whether you like it or not. The universe has no biases. It doesn't care if you want to see greatness or problems in your life. It doesn't care. It's unbiased. We live in a world and a planet of duality. There's good and evil, right? And you can create in any way you want, depending on what you are speaking and believing and feeling. More importantly, your emotions are your sensors. It tells you if you're on the right path. If you're feeling really horrible and you're just negative and all this, then you know you need to change your thoughts, because your thoughts will change your feelings, and your feelings will change your entire reality. So those are the steps, you guys. And if you missed them, 1 is I rewired my brain. I took it off default setting. 2, I started saying yes to uncomfortable situations. 3, I thought outside the box. I got creative. Number 4, my bad days weren't final. I didn't quit. Even though it was like horrible. I kept my mind on my vision and realized I was just waiting for my package to arrive. That's it. I was in transit. That was it. So my bad days were not final. Number 5, I started spending money more than saving. I started spending it because I realized money is energy, and it was an exchange. It was karma. It was what I put out comes back. Number 6, I stopped listening to broke people. I started following people that had what I wanted. I started taking their advice, whether I agreed with it or not. I was coachable. I was trainable. I decided I don't know anything, and I'm going to learn from scratch. Number 7, I took a holistic approach to wellness in all areas of my life. Number 8, I led with my heart and my passion. Number 9, I stopped thinking about myself. I started thinking about other people. And number 10, I realized what was illusionary and what was real in my life. And I began to create consciously because of that. Thank you guys for hopping on. I have a business meeting in 15 minutes, so I do have to go. But thank you guys so much. Please share this video if you think somebody else can benefit from that. Share the other one too. I wish I could combine the two together, but I can't. Fortunately, I had internet issues. But thank you guys. I am grateful for each and every one of you guys. And just know that you have the ability to succeed. You have the same ability that I had back then. So don't give up on yourself, and dive into retraining the way your thoughts are, because literally that's 99% of success is all right here. I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye-bye.